and welcome to your yoga class today. I'm Lucy and I've been asked by Mama Mio to join their Mamahood Live virtual event to bring this community of mothers together and help us all feel a little bit more connected. This yoga class today is going to be specific for pregnancy and birth preparation as well. We're going to go through a really beautiful sequence for all levels and abilities. So as long as you are over 12 weeks pregnant and have had that first 12-week scan, you can do this sequence all the way up to term. You can also do this if you are brand new to yoga, as well as having a bit more experience in yoga, because I'm going to offer lots of different variations through the practice. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about why yoga is so beneficial for you during your pregnancy. And my classes are quite specific in that we not only focus on your pregnant body, but I teach you a lot about the importance of your birth positioning and how to stay upright and mobile during labour to have a really positive birth experience. So let's start with the benefits of yoga during pregnancy. Now, with your growing and changing body, yoga is going to really help you maintain your mobility levels in your joints. We often hear of women feeling achy or sore in the hips, the backs, the shoulders, the legs, and yoga really addresses this by keeping you moving in a really safe and gentle way. Yoga also really helps you to maintain your strength, which again, with your growing body is really important, but also for birth as well, because as we know, labour and birth can be a long event and we want to have a really trained, ready body for us to have a great experience. Yoga is also fantastic for addressing stress levels and any sleep problems you may be having. And so we're always going to talk about our breath and how this can really help you to relax and unwind. And the breath is also so important for addressing pain or discomfort levels during labour and birth as well. Your oxygenated blood is going to really help your uterus during contractions, and that is what it's been designed to do. Contract, like any muscle in the body, really contract and work. And when we breathe properly, as yoga teaches us, we can send oxygen to our uterus so that it can work more efficiently. Oxygen will also help you to release the right hormones for a natural pain relief, which is oxytocin and endorphins working together to create a cocktail of pain relief in the body. So yoga really does act as a rehearsal, a practice that you can get used to how to breathe, how to move, and how to work with your body and with your baby in order to have a really intuitive, connected birth experience. So I'm going to show you a model of a female pelvis here, and I'll be talking a lot about this today and why yoga and movement is so important. During labour, we often see pictures of women laying on their backs to give birth. But actually, when we are utilising our bodies in the right way, the way that our bodies have been designed to birth, we should be staying more upright and opening up the space available in the pelvis. When you use some of the positions and the postures that we're going to go through today, you can create up to 28% more space in your pelvis, which is really going to help your babies to descend. The correct positioning is also going to help you use gravity in the right way to really draw and bring your babies down and out of your body. Not only that, but the shapes that you make with your pelvis allow your babies to navigate their way through this structure, which is again going to really improve your birth experience. Upright and active labours are statistically shorter and far more comfortable than those where the lady is laying down on her back and not in the most productive position for labour. By doing this, we are putting pressure on our sacrum here at the back, which isn't allowing it to open. And that can cause quite a lot of discomfort in the ligaments around the pelvis structure and up into the torso as well, around our uterus. So today we're going to talk all about how we can really use our pelvis, open it up, and have a more involved birth experience. So we're going to start seated or on your knees, and this is completely up to you. You can also use cushion or a blanket, but other than that, you don't need any extra equipment today. I'm going to sit on my bottom, but you can come to sit on your knees like this. You can put a cushion underneath your bottom, but just find a position that you can sit in or be in that makes you feel able to focus, that you don't want to fidget too much. And this is very reliant on how you and your bump are feeling today. And once you've found that comfortable position, we're just going to settle into using our breath. Before we get right into it, let me just say that, like all exercise, when you're pregnant, please do be mindful of what you're doing today. If at any point something isn't quite feeling right or any pain shows up, please do just stop your sequence. You might just be having a bit of an off day, or there might be something that isn't suited to your specific needs today. Otherwise, though, this sequence is completely safe for all to do over 12 weeks. So once we've found that comfortable position, we're going to first connect with our breath. And this is great for a couple of different reasons. It's going to center us today for our practice, but using our breath can really help us feel more connected to our pregnancy, our baby, and actually our pelvic floor health, which we'll talk about later. So resting your hands on your knees, or following me if you prefer, to place one hand onto your chest near your heart and the other hand onto your babies, which can be a really nice way to connect today. And you can just simply lower the eye gaze completely, or just lower it to the floor. So closing if you feel more comfortable with that. And I want you to just focus on your natural inhalations and exhalations. You don't need to change them. You simply need to be aware of them, just coming into the body and out of the body. Because what we tend to do throughout our day is breathe in a way that we're not completely aware of. So that is quite shallow. That's quite a shallow way of breathing. But when we really inhale deeply into the body, we can bring in a lot more oxygen, which during labour is going to really aid the process. So perhaps you can start to lengthen those inhalations now. And again, lengthen the exhalations as well. You can breathe out through the nose or the mouth, and the same goes for breathing in. And keep that flow of breath coming in and out. Maybe now is a nice time to begin noticing how you feel today as you're sitting here doing this with me. Perhaps you'll notice something that you're feeling or thinking. But when we use our breath in yoga, we try to use the exhalation to then let go of anything that isn't serving us today. Maybe that's a worry. Maybe that's something that's happened to you recently, or a thought process. The exhalations are a great way of just letting go of this so that we can just focus on ourselves today. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. So when we have taken our next exhalation, I'd like you to open your eyes, and we're going to take both arms all the way up to the ceiling, reaching those arms up. Palms touch, and then we're going to come down through the center line. And we're going to repeat this very simply, starting to synchronize, breathing in to lift up and breathing out to come down. Again, in to go up. So start to find your own rhythm, start to find what works for you. The length of time that you do this for, coming up and going down, is completely unique to you. And this is why practicing in advance is great, because during labour you also need to know the type of rhythm with your breath that is going to suit you. And breathing out. We'll do one more all together. Inhale to lift. This time hold those hands up. We're going to interlace your fingers and then turn your palms up to the ceiling. If you look at my shoulders, I'd like you to try and drop the shoulders down away from the ears rather than keeping them up here, because we want to create space in our shoulders rather than tension. So trying to draw the shoulders down, and maybe even thinking about the shoulder blades drawing down the back. And from here, we're just simply going to wiggle and move from the waist, from the hips. If you are quite heavily pregnant, this can really help you feel like you've got a little bit more space available here in your tummies. You're just moving in your own way. Perhaps you can feel the side body starting to lengthen a little bit. And we're trying to keep our bottoms to the floor if you are on your bottoms like I am. Good. So let's take now your right hand or one of your hands to the floor, and your left arm or the other arm is above you into a side stretch here. And we're just going to lift the chest up to the ceiling, but find that beautiful side angle here to create a lovely stretch down the body. Good, we're going to come through the center and take that to the other side. So it's nice and simple, but we're starting to warm up the body, feeling a little bit taller perhaps in the torso. Again, let's come up and down. So the lower hand, you can place that wherever feels right. You can place it closer to the body or further away. Let's take that to the other side. And we're going to start to use our breathing. So come inhaling to the center. Exhaling into the side. Inhaling. Exhaling, lovely. This time, coming up to the center, we're going to take a slightly different variation, taking your lower hand down, but the free arm is going to circle towards the front and behind you, sort of tracing a halo shape. And then you're going to take that on the other side. This is really nice for starting to loosen up the shoulders and the upper back. So round and side. Again, find your own pace. As long as you're breathing as you move, then that is great. So our shoulders can feel a lot of our tension, especially if we're having poor sleep as well. That's going to create even more discomfort in the shoulders. So I really like to help pregnant women loosen up this area of the body. Good, we'll do one more on each side. So you're tracing out a halo above the head and then the other side, really nice. Good, holding it there and back to the center. Now we've worked on the shoulders a little bit. I'd just like you to roll them up, back and down, up, back and down, up, back and down, squeezing away tension. You can also place your hands onto the shoulders if that feels nice. So using your elbows to really work into these joints. Good. And then coming back to the center, we're just going to use our chin to come to the chest and start to explore the neck by bringing the ear down to shoulder on each side, finding some movements that can make you feel a bit freer in the neck area. So perhaps you want to take one ear right down to the shoulder and slightly look over the shoulder. Maybe you want to look up to the ceiling. But again, just find movements that feel nice to you. Good. And this is all part of warming up the body as we move through the class. So coming back to the center, let's shake out now the wrists, shake out the forearms, bring a little bit of energy into the body, and we're going to move onto an all fours position. So just watch how I do that so that you can make sure you're nice and safe doing this. You're going to take your hands to the side of you and then gently crawl onto the hands. We want to really protect our abdominal muscles during pregnancy. So coming onto all fours now, you're going to have your wrists stacked in line with your shoulders and about shoulder width distance apart. And we're going to start to work into the spine. So I want you to just start to curl the spine, tucking your tailbone underneath you and then flattening the spine to look forward. Again, we're going to really round the spine, tucking your tailbones under and then lengthening out the spine. We're going to breathe in here. Breathe out to push the floor away as you round that spine. Breathe in. Good. Again, breathing out to round, push the floor away. Inhale. Good. Let's do one more time. Exhale, rounding. Good. Inhale to straighten. Lovely. And then taking your hands slightly further forward, we're going to come into my favourite movement that I talk all the time about, and that is stirring the pot. So you're just starting to make some circles here with your body, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. What I always say is just move. This is not only going to make you kind of discover little areas, little nooks and crannies that need some releasing, but during labour, this is a really beautiful way to move to help you feel more comfortable during contractions and encourage your babies into a great birthing position. Making sure we've gone both ways. If you watch how I really use my body, it's almost like an animal Waking up in the morning, using the spine, using the shoulders, the hips, making big movements all the way, however it feels right for you. Good, couple more times. And then we're going to settle back into the center, bringing our hands back underneath us and widening our knees ever so slightly to come into child's pose. So sitting right back into child's pose, you're going to put your bottoms down towards your heels, and then you can either come onto forearms here, depending on your bump size, or you can perhaps walk your hands all the way forward and relax down. Now you've got a couple of options here. You might want to use a cushion or a blanket to use as a cushion for your tummies, but I know that those watching this are going to be at all different stages of pregnancy, so you must do what works for you. If you'd like a bit more space beneath you, come right up onto the hands and just simply let the head drop. The chin can come down to the chest. And the idea of child's pose in yoga is to really keep you relaxed and calm and neutral spine so that your body is in a really restful place. But also child's pose is wonderful for a labouring woman who is particularly tired. So if you were to rest here, you would still be in an open and upright position using gravity to help your baby, but you would also be able to rest the body forward. So we're just going to take a few breaths in your child's pose. So try to feel the body softening into the mat or the ground. Every time you exhale, you're going to release a little deeper into your child's pose. Even if you are quite high up, away from the floor, let's close the eyes and try to let the body unwind. Inhaling, opening that rib cage as you breathe into the body. Exhaling to come back together. Good. And let's gently come back up into an all fours position. So when you're ready, coming all the way back up together. Really nice. So from here, I'd like you to tuck your toes at the back underneath you and just simply push back onto your heels with your bottoms, feeling a stretch in the feet. And you can hold this for as long as you like, pushing your energy into your hands and into the floor to get a deep stretch, but it's not uncommon for this to feel a little bit tender. If you have been standing up for a long time, walking around a lot, or are particularly tense at the moment, the feet can really feel that. Good, so coming back up, release the feet, toes, give them a shake, and we'll do that one more time. Tuck the toes and sit right back. Good. Well done, everybody. So from here, with your toes still tucked, you're going to walk your hands back now so that you're coming in to a light squat-like position. Your hands are on the floor, so take your time getting here, and your knees are open. You're just going to sway left to right to open up the hips. And I'm just going to change my position so that you can see me here. So you're just swaying left to right. And this is going to start to open up the hips a little bit, softening the hip joints, which can become very tight and tense during pregnancy due to the growing weight of your baby. But for an upright position or an upright birth, we want our hips to be really soft and able to open. So that's why yoga can really help. Good. So from here, staying where you are, just watching for a moment, you're going to begin bringing yourselves up. We're going to come up and down a few times. We're going to come up, just swaying. So you're going to move your hips left to right as you come up, and you're going to walk your hands up the legs, only halfway up, and then back down again to a squat position. And you're just starting to get used to the feeling of using the hips. So coming up halfway, swaying left to right, hands come halfway up the body, up the legs, sorry. Swaying in your weight into one foot, then the other. And if you had a tail at the back where your tailbone is, your tail would be wagging left to right and coming back down again to the floor. Again, there's no right or wrong pace, okay? Just keep going up and down. Good. And the next time you come down, we're going to stay in the squat position on the floor and start to make our way back to the all fours position in your own time. for a little bit of a hip opener now. So taking your right leg, again when you're ready, to the outer edge of the mat in front of you. We're going to come into a really nice birth position actually, but a beautiful way to soften your hips. So in this position, you've got your right foot on the outer edge of the mat and your knee just over the ankle, and you're keeping that knee open. And you're going to start to rock forward and back here. Now again, imagine if you had a tailbone at the back. In a moment we're going, a tail at the back. In a moment we're going to wag that tail left to right. So for now, you're just moving forward and back, starting to open this hip joint, get it moving. Good, and then imagine that tail starting to make shapes behind you, perhaps circles, and different positions, different shapes that really work for you. You're going to feel some engagement in your hamstring perhaps, and in the hip flexor. Open that knee out. And this is a really normal birthing position, which is a beautiful way to open up the space available in the pelvis, and particularly good for women who are having a pull birth and want to change their positions, or are really low to the ground and want to do something different. A lunge can be a really great position to come into. Good, I'm just going to come forward and back a couple more times and change it up. So take that knee now to the back, really nice, and shake out your hips, wagging that tail. We're going to do that on the other side, so stay where you are. I'm going to change to show you. Taking that other foot forward now. Again, open the knee over the ankle, not over the toes, and start to move forward and back. So bend into it and back. And you're just bringing that bottom slightly forward and back. Slightly forward and back. Your hands are in the front to support you. And then start to make some shapes again with your tail, left to right, forward and back, little circles perhaps. Don't forget to keep breathing throughout. Good. Couple more times. And let's bring that knee back. Really good. Well done, everybody. Shake that tail left to right. Give your back and your lower back a bit of a release. And then from here, we're simply going to walk your forearms forward to the floor for our little puppy modification. You can lower the chin down, or if you really want to take it a bit further, you might want to reach the arms all the way forward and let the head drop. It depends on your natural range of motion, of movement, and of course the pregnancy stage you're at and your bump stage. So puppy pose with your arms extended like I am, or onto the forearms, and just let the head drop. Good. Let's come gently up now, guys. We're going to move into a standing sequence. So taking one of your feet forward to the front of the mat. Take this at your own pace. Your back toes are going to tuck under, and you're going to step that other foot forward as well. So you've got both of your feet at the front of your mat, nice soft knees, and very slowly you're going to roll up through the body, through the spine. Take it gently and slowly to come all the way up to the top. When you get to the top, you're going to roll the shoulders up, back and down a couple of times, up, back and down. We're going to come into a little standing sequence now. This is going to be great to build energy, to get you feeling quite strong in the lower body, and really using our bodies to keep us uplifted. So our feet are about hip width distance apart. I'm going to use some modifications here for those who want to take it a little slower or down a notch, and those who want to keep your practice quite similar to the one you had before pregnancy. So we're going to bring our arms all the way up to the ceiling with a nice deep inhalation. Inhaling up. As you exhale, you're going to soften the knees, fold that body all the way down, let the head drop, let the body drop. Good. From there, you're going to step your right foot back and your knee will come down to the mat. Good. And from there, you're going to take both hands all the way up to the ceiling. Hold it there. Breathe. Taking those hands down, step your left foot to the back, for child's pose, sorry, for all fours, and we're going to sit back into child's pose. Good. Relax into child's pose. Soften the body, soften the arms, soften the head, and come back up. Good. We're going to take that right foot back to the front now. In front of you, just see how you go and take it gently, and take both arms up again to the ceiling. Starting perhaps to feel your energy levels rising, hands coming down, and then tuck your back toes and gently step that foot to the front. Rolling all that through the spine, arms come back up, and we come into prayer in the front of our bodies. We're going to do that again and with some different modifications now. So inhaling up, exhaling all the way down. Let the arms drop, let the body drop, soften the knees. Take your right knee to the back, or you can step that right leg all the way back into a lunge. And this depends on your practice and how you're feeling. Now from here, you can either lower the knee to come up the arms, or you can keep this lunge position and come up with the arms. So this is a stronger version. See how you feel. Breathing. Hands come down. Lovely. Lower that knee and step back for our sweeping cat. So you're going to use the spine to come back, forward and up. Round, back, forward and up. And this is here to really mobilize the spine, getting oxygen all around the body. Good. Coming back up to all fours, we step that right foot to the front again. And again, you've got the option, hands come all the way up, or you can tuck your back toes underneath you to come into a lunge position, and then your arms can come up. Good. And arms come down. Really nice. Let's step that back foot to the front a couple of times if you need to. And gently roll all the way up the body. Arms coming up. And arms coming down through prayer. Really nice, everyone. So shake off those legs. Shake off those arms. We should be feeling a little bit more energized now. And we're going to step into our warrior sequence. So taking your right leg or your front leg, whichever one you prefer, stepping back as far as you feel you want to the back of the mat. Every single person is very different with warrior. Some people prefer it to be a little closer together. Some people prefer it to be wider. You've got to feel that you're comfortable enough in this position to feel your legs working. Bend your front knee and take those arms out to the side. Now, if you feel you want a little bit more from the posture, feel free to step back further. If you feel any discomfort in your pelvis, feel free to step that back foot a little bit further forward. So wherever you are in your warrior, let's push our energy down into the feet, almost like we're trying to rip the floor apart. Really engage the lower body and breathe. Shoulders relaxed. Good. Engage with that back leg nice and strong. We want our lower bodies to be strong for pregnancy and for birth as well. Good. Holding it for one last breath. And let's come into our little flow. Inhaling to straighten that leg. Exhaling to soften. Inhaling to straighten. Exhaling to soften. Again, inhaling to straighten. Exhaling to soften and hold here. Good job, everyone. Hold that warrior, straightening that leg and turning your toes to face the side, facing each other. Taking your two hands behind your lower back into your pretend pockets at the back and simply opening that chest, engaging the kneecaps, up the body, up the legs, open that chest up to the ceiling. Breathing. Good. And then softening the knees, seeing if we can fold our bodies forward and let the hands come down to the floor. Now, if your hands don't touch the floor, do not worry. Your hands can come onto the shins. You can soften the knees if you need to, or depending on your practice, you can straighten that leg, both legs, for a deeper stretch. But please work to your limitations. If you need to soften the knees, then that's absolutely fine. Well done. Good, everyone. So from here, take a last deep breath here, and then walking your hands back up the legs, slowly, gently coming all the way up to standing. Let's take that to the other side. So turning your other foot now to the back of your mat or your space and bending that knee for warrior on the other side. Again, pushing your energy down into your feet, into the ground to get the most out of this posture. Spread the fingertips, open those arms. Work on building strength in the lower body. Breathe. And let's flow, straightening that leg, lifting arms, exhaling down, inhaling, exhaling down, bending over the ankle. Again, inhaling to straighten, exhaling down and holding it, good. Feel those legs really working. Good. And then straighten that leg and turn the foot to face me at the side. And we're going to simply shake off our knees, our legs, our hands, and start to, in a second, come back down to the floor. So with your hands onto your hips, we're going to soften our knees, and we're going to start to make some circles and shapes with our hips to keep them feeling mobile. So it's very, very normal for a labouring woman to feel the need to move like this. But we don't often see it, so we don't feel very familiar with these types of movements. But if you were to move your hips in this way during your labour, you'd actually be using your pelvis, opening it up and creating space for your baby. So it's very, very common for women to feel the need to move like this, perhaps up against a wall, perhaps on a bed, over a bed, holding onto a birth partner. But this is why yoga is that rehearsal for birth, using these movements now so that you feel really comfortable using them when labour begins. Good. So last couple of hip movements, there's no right or wrong. And very gently, I'd like you to think about bringing your toes and heels together very slowly. It's back together, and we're going to come back down to the floor. So facing the side, we're going to inhale, lift those arms up. Exhale, soften the knees, soften the arms, soften the whole body, stepping one knee to the back, the other knee to the back to come into child's pose one last time. So widen those knees out to the outer edges of the mat, sit that bottom right down towards the heels, and if you can, extend the arms in front of you. Remember, if you need more space, you can come up onto the hands or the forearms. So we're just going to rest now. Now our energy is higher and we've had a lot of movement going on. Our heart rates are higher and we probably feel the need now to kind of rest a little bit more and slow things down. So I want you to come back to your breathing, back to that natural rhythm, natural pace, and try to come back to those long inhalations, long exhalations, slowing down the process. During labour, our breathing is so important for keeping us present, for keeping us calm, and as I said earlier, using our natural hormones and pain relief in our bodies. So whenever we feel our breath running away with us in labour, yoga can really help you to bring yourself back to the moment that you're in. So just breathing wherever you are. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to sitting facing one another again. So gently move yourself however you were at the beginning, maybe back onto your knees or into a cross-legged position, however that might be. We're going to very, very slowly unwind now towards the end of our sequence today. I want you to just do one last posture together with me that is for your upper body, your shoulder blades, because due to our growing bodies, especially our breasts, the upper backs can tend to feel quite tight. And if you go on to be breastfeeding, you're going to also notice that this area can really be affected from your positioning and the rounding of the back. So what I'm going to do today can really help you now and postnatally. So we're just going to extend the arms out to the side. You're going to bring them in front and cross your right arm on top of the left. You're going to bend at the elbows and see if you can connect your fingers together like this. You might be able to connect your palms like this, or you might feel that this is enough. So wherever you are, come into that posture and then lift the elbows a little higher if you can, and see if you can then lower your chin down to the chest and just feel the upper back reacting to this beautiful stretch. Use that slow breath. Inhale, exhale. Couple more times. Inhale. And then let's just unravel the arms, release them down and shake them out. Let's do that on the other side just to balance us. Arms come out. Left arm on top this time. Bending at the elbows when we get here. And you can either connect the fingers or the palms or keep them open. I'll keep them open so I can still speak to you. And then you can lift your elbows slightly further up. Keep the shoulders drawing down and then chin to chest. Slow breathing. Good, everybody. Let's unravel the arms, shake them out, and give your shoulders a last roll up, back and down. Well done. Good, everyone. So let's come back to settle, feeling comfortable. So do move if you need to. And we're going to place one hand back to your chests and the other hand back to your babies. And closing the eyes, I just want you to, again, take an opportunity, which, again, yoga provides us time to do this. Take this opportunity to see how you are feeling and how your pregnancy, your pregnant body is feeling right now. And you might feel a range of things from tired to energized, emotional, strong. You might even feel a little bit more prepared or in the know. But whatever it is, just acknowledge how you feel right now and breathe through it slowly and gently. Try to feel soft around the shoulders, soft around your forehead, your jawline. Now you might not realize this, but as I said earlier about the pelvic floor, by practicing yoga, you are really helping your body connect to your pelvic floor muscles, and this is through using our inhalations and exhalations. When we soften the area around our mouth, our jawline, we also allow our pelvic floor muscles to soften, which for birth is really important. And through regular practice of yoga, you start to use your pelvic floor a little bit more through more specific postures. And this can really help build strength in your pelvic floor for now and postnatally, but also learn how to soften and release it. So softening the jaw, softening the pelvic floor. Good, guys. Last few rounds of breath here. And when you're ready to, you can softly open the eyes and release the hands back down. So thank you so much for joining in my sequence, and I really hope you found it beneficial. I hope that you'll notice how your range of movement can improve and your strength, but also how you can really use your body during labour and birth to have a more positive and comfortable experience moving your pelvis. So thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope you found today helpful. Take care. Bye.